okay. Whatever works. Huh?
I forgot to take my mooch. I gotta go grab some in a second.
Sorry. You good?
The finals or something or no?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was this important.
You didn't? I thought it was because all the streaming's here.
Can you do me a big favor, please? I left my motion in the car.
What?
My motion. I need to take some motion.
Yeah. Turn the alarm call?
Just go into the trunk. Go into the trunk.
Okay, in the trunk.
No. Just like go into the trunk door.
Okay.
The orange bottle, orange bottle.
Thanks, Burns.
Thank you.
Too bad I can't go spend. I asked him about if I should dare. I wonder if it's the same.
What'd you say?
You know how you said
I spoke to him in the car.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Like for a minute.
Okay.
Was it good?
Yeah. Weigh in.
What do you want?
Whatever. Yeah, bomb.
That guy. It's a big. I'm the traveling coach, Jackie.
Traveling coach.
Oh, what a coach. What a coach. Ready, lady?
you need
And I
one?
want one with your
We
umpires.
might need it. They might need it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Before I go up there, would you guys mind doing the toss now so I can write it down properly?
All right.
Thank you.
Please.
It's up.
Receive.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe, can I get a picture of you with everybody? So you know
Come over,
you're
Joe.
back.
I'll pay my dues.
We'll take
Be in the
that
middle.
first. We'll be on the other side.
This side.
The net.
You don't want to be in the middle?
Well, you gotta be in the
guys
middle
are-
for
You
one.
guys are the
Joe, you have
stars.
to get in the middle. Yes, that's fantastic. All right, 1, 2, 3, smile. Fly nose, ladies. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Thank you. Wait. Maybe take a second.
Sorry,
I don't
I'm
want to
good.
hit you.
I'm up in a second. Come here. Let's take it up there. Nice of the gloves. Any second, Derek?
What's that?
Any second?
Yeah. I'm in no rush. Just take your time. Man, Josh is going after me. The difference between winning and losing is over $1,000.
Pardon?
I'm trying to keep the news like the difference between winning and losing is over $1,000. Good luck, ladies. Watch out, Jackie.
Amazing match point. What athleticism.
And there you have it, your APTA national champions.
Best match of the year.
Brilliant shot.
Incredible stuff. And it's sitting up and he's right there.
Hello and welcome to the APTA Tour. We are live from Manufacturers Golf and Country Club, bringing you the Philly Open Men and Women's NRT, a 2022-23 APTA Tour event, which is the 11th stop on the APTA Tour. It's presented by Remedy Plus and sponsored by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors, Paddle Pro and Fusion, and local sponsors, Xenon and the MAPTA organization. I'm Patty Hogan along with Jerry Vion. for this women's final action between our number 1 and 2 seeds. We've got the amazing all-world number 1 team of Flor Hanish and Anna Zabori coming up against tournament number 2 seed Lynn Kiro and Macy Maduras for final round action out of the Philadelphia area. Jerry is remotely calling in from down under, literally from Australia, and she'll be with us shortly. These the 1 and 2 seeds here. 1 and 2 seeds here, in taking a look at the draw, you can see Kiro and Maduras were the top team, came out on the top side of the draw, got through their semifinal. We saw that earlier over Morgan and Sakura, pretty handedly, 2-2. They played a solid match, not a great match, but very few unforced errors, and they earned their berth here into the finals. And then on the other side, Hanish and Zabori, tournament number 1 seed, got through Bezanova and Lopez in their quarterfinal and took out Shea and Sutter, the tournament number 4 seeds, 6-4, 6-1 to advance to this final round matchup. We are headed for a clear night. I think weather-wise in Philadelphia, it was 48 degrees out there today. Beautiful day for platform tennis and a beautiful night here at Manufacturers Club, thanks to tournament director Scott Falatek, who is helping run the show here and oversee everything. Kudos to the APTA and from this final stop before we head to Chicago for the Nationals. Sure, on the far side in the light blue jacket, that's in the deuce court, is Lynn Kiro. Her partner is Macy Maduras, and in women's paddle sometimes you'll see opponents warm up on the same side of the court as each other because it's kind of important to them to get adjusted to the lighting and wind, whatever may come into play during the match. So that's Lynn Kiro far side. On the deuce court in the ad court, that's Anna Zabori, who we will see out of the ad court for the team of Flor Hanish and Anna Zabori. In the near court on the deuce court, right side, that's Flor Hanish. And then over there on the ad court, hitting a serve, Macy Maduras. This match will be a 2 out of 3 set, regular scoring match. We have lots of action finishing up here today in this first round of action from the Philly Open. 3 days of play, great action. We'll go on air tomorrow, I believe, at 2:30 with men's quarterfinal action. But sit tight here because we have a matchup of, some people would argue there's definitely 2 of the top 3 teams in the country right here on this court. Anika Nicolescu, our women's number 2 team in rankings, took a pass on playing this tournament. And so our number 1 and 2 seeds here are matched up for this final round match. Even though the players played all day, they've got to warm themselves up again. They've been off for about an hour and a half since their semifinal finishes. Everybody taking plenty of serves.
Patty, I'm back.
Jerry, welcome.
I'm sorry to leave you hanging there. I don't know, something happened over here in Adelaide, but we're here and very excited to call this match with you today.
Jerry, I've gone through the draw, player introductions. We were just waiting for you. We told them to take some extra serves till you came back on.
All right. You've been very busy then. So, as we're looking at the players warming up, this weekend at the Short Hills Invitational, where Kiro and Maduras made their way to their first ever Grand Prix final as a team. And they've had quite a good season. The last few tournaments they've played together, they've made that top 3. They've made that leap, and they're definitely contenders going into nationals.
Yeah, Jerry, they performed beautifully in that semifinal win over Hanish Zabori. It wasn't Hanish Zabori's strongest match that they've played this year. So Maduras and Kiro got them at the right time on that day at Short Hills, and that's what's going to be intriguing to see if there's any, is there any hangover effect in the minds of Zabori and Hanish here today as they face the team that took them out last weekend.
Right. I was very impressed with Kiro and Maduras. They played with poise and tenacity, and they really showed that they're strong contenders. On the flip side, like you said, Harnish and Zabori were not as sharp as we've seen over the last 2 seasons. They were a little bit out of sync, and largely due to how Kiro and Medeiros presented themselves. But they also couldn't get out of their own way. They usually find a way to get back into it, but kudos to Kiro and Medeiros. They just kept their foot down on the pedal. They had didn't back down. And, you know, for me, for this final today, both teams need to play at their best to be successful. And then it's going to come down to tactics and execution. See, you know, who's going to make some adjustments. There's our umpire up in the chair, Joe Ryan.
Yeah, Jerry, it is going to be we talk about platform tennis being the chess game of the racket sports, and that is going to be so true as this match unfolds.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final round match, which is the best of 3 sets with the tie breaks. To my left, playing in the deuce court from Bloomingfield, New Jersey, Miss Lynn Kiro, and her partner in the ad court from Fairfield, Connecticut, Marcy Medeiros. From my right, from Watchung, New Jersey, Florentine Harnish, playing with her partner in the ad court from Westport, Connecticut, Anna Zabori. Harnish and Zabori have won the toss, and they've elected to receive. Love 15. Love 30.
2 strong serves, which is what we've grown to expect from Lynn Kiro. Serving, one of the tallest players on the tour, one of the most powerful players. And she is really only in her 2nd full season of competitive play, which is just amazing, given what a strong season she's having here. Season number 2. Right out of the box, a lot of people thought she had the skills to win a national title. There's 4 women on the court. We know Harnish and Zabori have won a couple national titles together. Flora Harnish won also another one with Annika van Sterenberg. And Mason Medeiros won in 2020 with Marcella Radesna.
15-30.
There's a lot of people who think it won't be long for Kiro to be holding up the national trophy.
Let it go.
30 all. Forty, 30.
You can see right out of the box, nice calm tempo. Both teams look like they're really trying to dictate play here. Harnish Zabori, I think, given that they went out in the semis at
Game
Fort Hill,
Medeiros, they lead 1-0.
given that Medeiros and Kiro got the win last weekend in the semis at Short Hills, I was really intrigued with this matchup here for the final and what it's Zabori and Hanish, what their approach will be. I think that they didn't feel they had a strong showing at Short Hills. They were a little out of sync as a team, which was really surprising because, if anything, we've come to see them just rise to the top of the game with, being on the same page at the same time all the time. Great communicators, great talent, and they just always seem to find a way to pull out matches. But then on the other hand, you're playing against Kira Medeiros, and like I said, Medeiros, I have a lot of regard for her as a competitor. We talked about her national championship win in Darien with Marcela Redesno in 2020. She paired up with Lynn Kiro at the start of the season. And, they've proved themselves to really be in the top of our game. They played the Boston Grand Prix where they lost to Morgan Sikora. Morgan Sikora went out in the other semifinal today that we saw earlier. They went to Detroit, lost to Anika Nicolescu. They won Long Island where they beat Cooper Petrini. And then we referred to that Short Hills semi-loss. So they started the season with a loss in the quarters at Montclair. This is Hanish Zabori we're speaking of. And then last weekend's semifinal outing, I think, it'll be intriguing to me to see how that impacts the play of Zabori and Hanish. And if we'll see their super smooth play or if they feel like
30 love.
If they're going to be pressing at all.
All right, Patty, sorry again. I'm back.
Jerry, I spoke of the successes Kira and Medeiros have had on a team.
15.
I took everybody through their season so far, and one of the points that I'll be curious about, we talked about off air, is here's Zabori and Hanish weren't on the same page last week, just did not
30 all.
bring their A game together at the same time, and that's what I'm so used to them delivering. And I'll just be curious in the early going here, if they get off to a strong start. I think that Kira Medeiros are phenomenal front runners, Jerry. I've seen them play a couple times, and they have an
40,
ability to just
30.
keep their foot on the gas and go. So this is an intriguing first couple of games here.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw at Short Hills. They did not back down, and Hanish and Zabori could not get out of their own way to find the answers. And their rhythm off the deck was totally off. So this, they were forcing things that they don't normally force, but that's from the pressure that Kira and Medeiros put on them.
Ball out.
Ball was not out.
It was in.
That ball was in.
Okay.
Okay, so an immediate overrule from the umpire there.
Deuce.
And we love that. We love that, right? Just get on with it.
Yeah, and as a player, you just have to, you can't let it impact your play.
No. You want the umpire to do that. Call early, be decisive, and then we can just go forward. All right,
That's
that giving us
Zabori.
break point opportunity.
Yep, off the Ana Zabori serving. That's one of the things I look for, Jerry. That Medeiros lobbing. She's one of the players in the game who I just think can pinpoint her lobs and is so strategic in her lobs, more so than a lot of players.
She absolutely nailed that lob down the line 100% in the semifinal match. And it caused confusion.
2-0.
And it set up their offense from the backcourt because she was constantly pulling Zabori behind Hanish and getting a short ball looking to attack. So, Macy Medeiros serving. She's got that low and go action on the serve. Actually, Patty, I saw her hit a couple of big serves in the semi-final match earlier.
Well, a lot of these top players, Jerry, have a couple of different options to go to on their serves. We see no one here necessarily is committed like, let's say, Roxy Anika to the sidearm serve. But I mean, everything in paddle, Jerry, as you know as well as anyone, comes down to matchups. And it's just, what do you need to take away the weapons from the other team?
Yeah, right now, the speed of play is a little bit more deliberate and a little slower. We saw in the Short Hill semifinal,
Love
and that's
15.
both from Kyrgios and Medeiros and Harnish and Zabori. So, you know, I always say the first 4 games, you're just trying to feel your way into the match, get your rhythm, get feeling.
Jerry, you talked about Macy Medeiros and her ability to just spot her lobs. I think no one does it better than Florin Hanisch out of that deuce court. I mean, she just will make opponents pay for their net coverage if they're not totally in sync.
15 all.
She just is masterful at opening up the court. She'll hit that down the line lob, Jerry. She'll test that middle, and I think that'll be testing that middle will be key. And how Medeiros and Kiro, I think, is going to be huge in determining the outcome of this match.
Yeah, we did see a little bit of hesitation down the middle in both the net and the backcourt.
I got it. I go.
See, I think if we see Medeiros handle a lot of these overheads from Hanisch, you know, the ones that are hit straight up to her, I think she'll be okay. I feel like sometimes they get in a little bit of trouble when the player to the right, in this circumstance it would be Kiro, kind of goes a little too far to her left, and against players as talented as Zabor and Hanisch, they make them pay almost immediately. So I'll be curious what strategy, you know, they go to, Jerry. Are they going to cover the net in halves, or are they going to divvy the court up in thirds?
15-40.
From what I saw last weekend, they're playing halves. They're looking to cut that ball off. You know, but all 4 players are very athletic. I expect to see a lot of transition play once they start unloading with the big drives.
But I think right there you saw Hanisch hit the shot. We heard the 2 paddles hit. I would expect Hanisch to just go back to that spot all night long.
Harnisch has to hit her forehand. She can place it really well, but I think she really needs to step in more when the opportunity's there and hit. Beautiful lob right on the back of the baseline. And that gets them on the board.
Game, Hanisch, Zabori,
2-1.
Kiro, Medeiros lead 2-1.
Jerry, I like your point about that because I think, like in the semifinal match we were calling earlier, Morgan Sakura, or I would say so many matches, I don't even want to put it on that match. You know, the net coverage is so key, and people don't care if they get broken necessarily. Everybody has the power to kind of break back. But my point was coming from Sakura Morgan match, I felt that they just leaned too heavily only on Charlotte's two-handed backhand, and it wasn't enough to take out Kira Medeiros. And I think to your point about Zabor and Hanisch, when Hanisch has the threat of that forehand, oh my Lord, they just soar as a team and how much better they become.
Yes, physically and mentally. It takes the pressure off of Zabori having to come up with a big shot.
Love
Floor
15.
Floor Hanisch serving. And that's Medeiros. That's a tee off and another return.
Nice serve. Nice serve.
15 all.
A lot of noise on that serve. Harnisch is really trying to push herself now to be aggressive.
I love it. I love the evolution of her serve, Jerry, over the last couple of years. You could just see she goes all in, 100% effort into that serve.
Right off the bat in this game, you can see the height and the depth of Harnisch's lobs. And that's going to be crucial to stop Medeiros hitting those rollers. Kiro like she was 2 feet out of the service line. That's going to be the issue.
15-30.
Hitting that
Right
ball,
there.
when do you go up? Yep.
Yeah. And you saw, you know, a little bit of holes there at the net with Kira Medeiros, Jerry, in that point. There was a line available. I'm gonna look for Zabora to hit some down the line and really test the positioning when she gets that drive out of that ad court.
Nice combination of lobs there by Kiro too. Again, pulling Harnish and Zabori out of the service box. Yep.
15-40.
I think Harnish has got to be careful on that transition. You know, when Kiro's running it down, she's looking to drive. She's got that beautiful big forehand. Like 3 break points here for Kiro Medeiros to go up 3-1. Big serve.
30-40.
You can see Hanish Zabori really content with letting those deep lobs just drop down low where they're kind of pushing the ball deep down the middle, not a lot of pace.
Placement can be as effective as spin and power, especially when you're deep in the court.
And there was that Hanish unleashed that forehand, Jerry, and you saw the movement. That was a great camera angle where you could see her movement, and she just pounced on that overhead, kind of hung up a little too high over there, headed toward that deuce corner.
Oh, what a return. Very deliberate, purposeful overhead placements. Kiro and Medeiros.
And out.
That's a good serve.
Deuce.
There's those kind of points. If you're Kiro Medeiros, you gotta take care of that return to serve. You're up a break to go up 3-1. Gotta put that return to serve in play.
And Jerry, it's about recognizing moments in the match. And even though this is so early in the match, it's a tremendous,
This
it's
is
a
a
big moment. It is, and
Yeah.
you know, I always think that's what makes the greatest players in the sport the greatest players in the sport. They recognize it, and they make the other team work their, you know what's off. Just, you know, make them volley. Don't give them any easy errors.
Yeah, and like you said, it is early in the first set, but somehow it feels like 4-all in the third already.
This is so fun, Jerry. The cat and mouse, Kiro and Zabori.
Yeah, they're both setting up early. A love that hold, that setup that Medeiros has off of the ball, the higher ball on the back screen. She can disguise that as a drive or a lob.
And out.
Just a little bit impatient on that.
Yeah, Medeiros hadn't really squeezed the middle, Jerry. That's where Zabori has to recognize that and just take a little something off it and keep the pressure on him.
Testing Kiro. She's not giving them anything that they can really work with and get it into her screens.
Sure, people say, you know, she's inexperienced, get the overheads into her screens, make her play that way. But Kiro is playing a really smart beginning of this match and really spotting her lobs, which I've seen her do beautifully. She hits a big two-handed backhand, but she also has that one-handed shift that gives her really good touch on that lob.
You see them switch in the backcourt. Now, they're still going to go after Kiro.
Ball was wide.
This is wide. And that is another break for Kiro and Medeiros.
Kiro, Medeiros, 3-3-1.
And Jerry,
Very
they
solid
just
start.
Yeah, Medeiros Kiro just changed the look of it during that point. It was a long point. They weren't getting anywhere. So just by switching courts, and as we know, these women are all amazing and can play either side of the court almost equally as well. You know, just changed the look.
15 love.
Yeah, they're putting it, again, they're putting the pressure on Hannes and Zabori to do more. And you can see Hannes is really trying to be the spark here. She set up the play well. She just missed that volley in transition.
I just think sometimes, Jerry, when you come in from that deuce side and you're equal opportunity forehand or backhand, sometimes you do get handcuffed a little bit, and she's missed two forehand volleys in that transition moment.
15-30.
Yeah, yeah. And we know those forehand volleys are very lively.
We love them, and there's a time and a place, but sometimes when there's a lot of heat, you're better off playing the shot with a little less backswing, a little less follow through, quieter volley.
All right, nice blitz move by Harnish. Came in that time, Patty, to your point, with her backhand volley set, ready to go.
I also think that keeps her in a better lane, Jerry, coming in, and lets Zabori fill the lane next to her a little bit more naturally.
Game, Hannes,
All right,
Zabori.
nice spotting by Harnish there.
Kiro,
Patty,
Medeiros
talk a
lead
little bit about
3-2.
Kiro's grip on her overhead. I know she can hit the roller, but her paddle face to me when she's pulled back deep is pointing up to the sky. So
Sure, Jerry. Let's talk about that after this message from Paddle Pro. For over 20 years, Paddle Pro has been recognized as an industry leader in platform tennis. The knowledge, expert advice, fast inventory, and ultimate customer service will help any player find the perfect equipment to take your game to the next level. Paddle Pro is the only website to carry all platform tennis brands. For more information, go to www.paddlepro.com. So, Jerry, we were talking about grips. We're going to have a little grip discussion. So, a lot of the top players, you'll see them play where they kind of get their V coming down their grip, a continental grip. Then Kiro serves with her grip a little bit over more than some of the players. And I think what happens as a result of that, she's got a pretty high contact point, not only on her serve, but also on a lot of her overheads, Jerry. And I think, as you have seen, and we've seen a million players come into this game, when they get the idea of letting that lob drop a little lower, it just gives them more opportunities for a variety of spins.
15
Right.
all.
Yeah, point of contact is a little high, but also I think she's got to change her grip to come around. I mean, and I only give her like another 2 weeks to practice, and I figure she'll have that slash overhand ready for nationals.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. These women are so good, and it comes down to matchups. And
30,
you know,
15.
you need variety, and the only way you're going to get variety on your overheads, you know, is by making grip changes.
A little
We
bit of
see
a momentum
Nicolescu,
swing
Jerry.
here.
Yeah, I was going to say Nicolescu's not here, but she keeps the same grip for 99% of her overheads. And to your point, I think all these players need a little more variety.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can
You
see
can see there.
Nicolescu, you know, is predominantly just hitting rollers, and she used to win her points outright. But now the depth of the women's draw and the players are
30
used to those
all.
rollers, it's not quite the point-winning shot that it once was. And a little combination of spins would really add a nice element.
Sure, and that's, you know, you see that I think of Zabori, where you can see her make, you know, she'll change her grip several times on consecutive
40,
lobs that
30.
she's the recipient of, and just hit the spin variety, and that's what you see Medeiros do as well.
Okay, Zabori with the point to tie this first set up. And that's a nice
Game,
cutoff.
Hannah Sabori, we are tied at 3.
So both teams
You know,
flooring hard, Patty.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, Jerry, that Medeiros pulled the trigger on that drive. You know, Kira's positioning wasn't quite sound. I didn't think she was was caught in a little bit of movement over there, and I think that Hanish, to her credit, recognized it and just went and stuffed the volley.
Love.
I think Kira and Medeiros are still feeling each other out as to, you know, what their favorite plays are, what their setups are, where they are on the court. Don't have as much match tournament play, obviously, as Hanish and Sabori.
Right, and you can't underestimate the confidence a team derives from having so many matches under their belt together.
15
Exactly.
all.
And what you can see right now is Hanish is bringing more offense to the team. Zabori is being more consistent and conservative. It's usually the other way around.
You know, and what would make Hanish and Zabori huge favorites in 2 weeks in Chicago is if they're both looking for their shots. I think when they both bring it, they are just incredible as a team.
Yeah, there are really no weaknesses. They both worked on every part of their game together as a team.
I love the discipline we're seeing out of the deuce court here from Floor Hanish, where she's just really in a waiting game, Jerry. She's just putting up the lobs, and I know she's thinking, well, if I can make them hit 150 overheads in every point here when they're at the net, that's going to work well for them as the match goes on.
30-15.
Yeah, but it's important to remember she's not lobbing because she can't drive. You know, she really uses that lob as an offensive weapon. You know, she's building the point. She's on a little
30
search and
all.
destroy mission.
Yeah, she's just a
one of
player
those
who. Yeah, she can set herself up, Jerry, at will all the time, and it's just the sequence of her shots that I think everyone
30,
can benefit
40.
from just zeroing in on watching Hannison. When she hits here, what's she going to look for next, and so on and so on. And you can just see that out of that deuce court with Flora Hannison anytime she plays, I think.
Deuce.
Again, Patty, we're at one of those moments in the match. You see Kiro Medeiros just taking a moment, make sure they're on the same page. Oh, little scout shot by Zabori. Medeiros had the answer.
And in.
She got the shot down up overhead and just hit down on it a little too much. So tempting after, you know, being so patient when you get that ball, just to go for a little too much.
Deuce.
I think it's so important for Zabori to hold her forehand and clear the net about a foot. Sometimes she tends to go for a little too much of a bullet. It's a tougher volley when it's up by your armpits.
And in.
And Sherry, that's a great point. Not only is it a higher percentage shot, but it's a more difficult volley for the top players. They are so good at those low volleys.
Yeah, they're paddle set, they're covering that just over the net. It's a harder volley when you have to move your paddle up and to the right for a righty. It's a fabulous overhead counter by Kiro. Oh! And see, that's where you just, you know, what are you going to do, Patty? That was your question. What are you going to cover? You're going to stay in your third. You're going to cover halves. If you're going to cover halves, you're going to have your backhand volley looking. She caught her right again at the right armpit.
Yeah, she's got to, in my opinion, she's got to stay to her right, and that has to be a backhand volley only. I think when you see that ad court player is loading up, the player straight ahead has to be looking for that backhand volley, moving in closer to the net. And I think that's one of the things I'll look for with Kiro Medeiros in this match. Kiro has a tendency to drop back and play a lot more of those lobs because she can, and she's phenomenal in her height and reach. But if you come, you know, up against players who can make you pay for that, then possibly they would go to a more traditional up and back where Medeiros is taking a little bit more of the bulk of the overheads coming out of the at-court lobby.
Right. Good, solid point here by both teams.
And in.
Pretty big return, Jerry. Yeah, you can see Kira Medeiros have gone really with a lot of the play where Kiro is the player to the right. We have Mason Medeiros in the red pants, dropping back, handling a bulk of the overheads that come to the middle where the players have a choice who's going to hit it. And then Kira will simply slide over and defend the middle on the drive on the next ball like she just did. Yeah, you can hear all four players constantly talking with each other. So there's no confusion as to who's going to hit the next ball. That's a phenomenal lob over Medeiros. Great cover from Kiro. And here we go again. Hannah Sabori building the point when they have an opportunity, taking the shot. And they're up against Kira Medeiros, who in my opinion are one of the country's best at defending the offensive drives coming from, particularly I think Zabori out of that ad court.
Game, Kiro. Medeiros, they lead 4-3.
So this is the finals from Philly, from Manufacturers Club, a historic club. Got their charter in 1887. Outside of Philadelphia, phenomenal facility here, totally supportive. Membership loves having these high-level events, whether it's APTA events, pro flight events. They love hosting for their membership these top-level players, and it's so fun to watch these players up close and personal, and that's the advantage these clubs get in hosting these events. So we are in the semis. We spoke of. We are headed to Nationals in Chicago in 2 weeks. 13 APTA tour events. 12 were live streamed this year. 1 to go with Nationals. We'll be live streaming 4 days straight out of Nationals in Chicago at the Glenview Club in 2 weeks' time. In between Junior Nationals next week, APTA board member Greg Morgan will be running the show again. Junior Nationals, lots of help from all our Jersey peeps and pros who make it a great event for the kids. Sign-up deadline for the men's and women's nationals and the junior nationals will end on Sunday. So if you haven't gotten your entry in, there's still a little bit of time to do it. Go to www.platformtennis.org, find the entry, read all about it, and see if it's something you can sign your son or daughter up or nationals yourself as a player.
15, love. $30, love.
So this is Floor Hannish serving, and this is Lynn Kiro hitting the return. I'm Patty Hogan along with Jerry V on sometimes. Sometimes I get the ghost of Jerry. And sometimes I get the real thing. Hi, Jerry.
Hello, Patty.
Jerry, I know a koala bear went by or something like that.
I'm not sure what's happening here today. I like the body language of all four players. Hear the counter sound of those volleys. It's like the drive is whack, And then the volley is
30-15.
they're not looking to attack and attack. They're looking to counter that. Not going for too much. Penny,
30 all.
I'm not sure what's happened, you know, in the game before, but curious that Medeiros is putting more of her lobs between Harnish and Zabori, as opposed to last week in the semifinal where she was really dialed into lobbing that down the line.
30-40.
Yeah, and I think Medeiros last year in the finals, last week in Short Hills in the finals, Jerry, Medeiros, you know, lost a little bit of her confidence, and I like her
all.
taking that lob a little bit more cross court. That maybe she'll get some more looks so that she can stay aggressive on her forehand, and we know she loves to hit that two-handed backhand.
Right. But she's not really going
And
wide cross
in.
court. She's going, you know, over the left shoulder of Harnish between them. I'm just wondering if she's looking for a different spot, looking for a setup when she, different setup, different way to start. Shot choices. That was a gutsy overhead by Floor Harnish to tie up this first set 4-all.
Jerry, how many times have we seen that from Floor Harnish when there's a moment in a match that needs someone to rise and kind of take charge? How many times do we see Floor Harnish be that player?
Yeah, she has that it factor of being big and brave in those moments, recognizing it and then being able to pull it off. She'll do it, you know, on a lob blitz. Much more comfortable on that play. I mean, that shot right there was a huge move for her to execute.
Love 15.
Little bit of impatience there from Medeiros. Medeiros has got that big, aggressive serve. She can serve herself out of trouble.
Love 30.
I like the pressure on that move from Harnish out of the deuce court. She saw that Zabori was totally comfortable, about to crush a forehand. Just kind of moved in, and, you know, you can get some volley errors off that play once in a while.
Love 40.
She's making it tough on herself. Nice touch.
15-40.
See, I like that serve from Kira, Jerry. She took a little something off it and put a little bit more spin. You saw a little bit more wrist action from her on that serve.
Very deliberate placement. All 4 players showing the patience. There's the move from Harnish. But she can make that blitz move because she knows she's got Zabori covering in the backcourt. Kiro sped up the play there and Zabori went for it. I mean, Harnish went for it.
I love that Hanish went for that, Jerry. I love the pressure that she's applying.
Yep. I like the change of pace on the overhead from Kiro. Oh, that's a good serve.
That was a pretty sweet serve.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be nice to be 6 feet tall and serve, Jerry.
She just has to be a little careful that she doesn't have too much heat on it, that it sits up high and comes out off of that back screen, giving Zabori chances to attack.
Right, that's the one disadvantage of that really high contact point.
And in.
4-all. That was like a half a swing there from Zabori.
That was a hell of a pickup from Kira on that return of serve from Zabori. Amazing.
Kiro, Medeiros, they lead 5-4.
Well, that was a significant hole. What, they were down 540, right?
Correct.
Clawed their way back. Yeah, I mean, that's a big hold right there. Put Kiro Medeiros up 5-4 in the first set.
I know, and that's a nervous thing about Kira's serve a little bit when I'm watching, because her grip, she tends to not hit it with a lot of spin. Sometimes in those pressure moments, if you know you can trust the spin and your swing, that helps a lot. But, you know, she's got supreme confidence in her abilities, which I love, and she's going to keep hitting it. Anna Zabori serving. 4-5, first set, finals from Philly.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Really exciting.
15, love.
Sometimes
No, I was just
Kiro
thinking to
gets
myself, Terry.
ahead of that ball. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's, she didn't, that's the first time she looked kind of bad on a shot. She's been handling the screens beautifully, and, you know, her transition and the screens,
30,
amazing.
love.
It's just not looking great right here on these first 2 points of this game.
You know, sometimes she's so quick, sometimes she just gets ahead of it, and then the ball is either behind her or level with her, instead of letting that ball
40,
drop
love.
and keeping it between her and the net. Definitely cut down the unforced errors. Very calculated play here by all 4 players. Smart bail by Kiro and Medeiros, and excellent recognition by Zabori that they had given up the net. She just took some pace off of her drive. Now you could sense the speed up coming, and
We're tied at 5.
hold by Harnish and Zabori. 5-all first set. So just
Yeah, and Kira decided she
understanding
was
the
gonna-
impact of, understanding the impact of the discipline and the impact of clarity at this moment. It's, you know, these teams have to stay clear and together on what their strategy is right now.
And Medeiros has played a lot more of these close, intense matches, you know, over the last couple of years than Kiro has. So I'll be curious to
Love
see if she,
15.
you know, tries to shoulder some of this here and just take a little pressure off Kiro right now.
Love 30.
So we went on the air. We expected that this match would be a great one because these players battled it. Like we said, Short Hills last week, semifinals. Medeiros and Kiro pulled that one out, 7-5, 7-6. I fully expected a really strong showing from Hanish and Zabori here, and they have delivered. They're playing, you know, a really rock-solid match here. Not much is separating these two teams here in Philadelphia tonight. Jerry talked about the importance of both of these teams
30.
understanding the discipline that's required right here in these moments. And that was a little bit of a flyer from Hanish. You don't usually see her do that. I think she was a little too deep, not quite where she could really throw her weight forward as she drove that ball. Great lob and right there from Zabori.
Fifteen 40. Kind of a surprising missed overhead from Flor Hanish. I don't think she can believe it herself. Good communication. Medeiros and Kira are totally focused. Know they have to be on the exact same page for this entire match, and this point is so critical right here. All these four women are just, they all realize the importance of this moment. Kind of a, 40
I'm quite shocked there. We had the Hanish miss on the overhead, and then Zabori just missed an overhead. You just don't see that, and that just shows the pressure that they feel in this match from Kira and Medeiros. And we're at 5-all. That's Macy Medeiros. This is where I kind of look for her match experience to take charge.
Out.
Right there again, Kiro, I don't like the play. She was moving to the middle and she gets handcuffed where it should be a routine backhand volley. I think that's what they're talking about. She needs to stay closer to the single sideline as opposed to starting her move when Zabori's about to start to hit the ball.
Yeah, and I also, Patty, to that point, you know, watch the height of the overheads on the back screen that's allowing the opportunity to make that attack.
You know, Jerry, I will. That's a great point.
I love the participation, Patty.
Hey, kudos to Tonya Mannion, Bobo Delaney. They won the consolation today in the Philly Open, Jerry.
That is impressive. Veterans of the game, great ambassadors for the game.
Yeah, Bobo has some family down in the Philly area, so it's great for them to come down and play this event.
And so look at the combination of the lobs coming out of Harnish and Sabori. Sabori just didn't step in enough on that overhead.
Jerry, just a little bit of a tentative game. We lost you there for a second. We had 2 overhead errors. Floor missed a push down the middle, and then Zabori missed an overhead wide. Just uncharacteristic for them, but that's the pressure that you get from the team of Medeiros and Kiro. They cover so much court. You know, you get ready to hit your overhead, and there aren't that many safe spots.
That's a lucky let cord there. Yeah, and also, I mean, the pressure's there. You got to manage yourself in these moments. So add out Harnish and Sabori, Macy Medeiros serving. Yeah, she's just not swinging freely. Zabori out of that ad side. Got to get herself moving on a 45-degree angle there. She's taking a practice swing with positive body language. Kiro Medeiros making sure their signals are clear. It's critical now. Harnish and Zabori making Kiro hit all of these overheads now.
Yeah, we see the same set of shots being played over and over and over by Hannah Sabori here in the first set. With a lot of the lobbing going over toward Lynn Kiro on the right side of the court.
And you see a little bit of a nervous swing there out of Harnish. Did not step in and commit. Like I said, these moments right now are about managing yourself.
I go.
Their opponents are giving them everything they can handle. And that's on both sides of the court. Nice speed on that overhead. Sometimes I worry that Kiro gets pulled back, that she tends to snap down on her overhead. Just add a little bit too much speed. She's doing well right now.
I see her hit that down up overhead, Jerry, and then she has the ability to cover it as well as anybody I've ever seen who does hit it. So she kind of can negate the negative effects by her court coverage, but like right there again, she's the player to the right, Jerry, and she got caught way off the net and missed that volley.
Back to deuce. just hear the speed of the ball coming off the paddle, off of all 4 players. It's all about placement right now.
That was funny. A little confusion right there between Zabori and Hanish. I thought Zabori came way over because she had a good lob up the line and there was open room in front of her.
And in.
Good move. Let that ball drop a little too low.
And Jerry, I feel
Just
like
push
she
that line.
overran it again. Like she just got too close to the, like she almost was beyond the center line trying to hit that ball. I think if she just came up with a backhand, all the situation needed was a quiet backhand volley.
Yeah, she just needed to take it at a higher point, though.
Come on!
Game, Kiro, Medeiros, they lead 6-5.
Kiro Medeiros hanging in. There's nothing between these 2 teams right now, Patty. Patty, it's like no one's going to blink right now, right? Both players
I'm not even
are-
going to
it
blink,
is-
Jerry.
I know. You notice that you're leaning forward in your chair. Both players are playing very deliberate, very calibrated, very aware of placement on the court, where their shots have to be. It's Flor Harnish serving. Kiro
Love
Medeiros up
15.
6-5 in the first set. This is the final of the Philly Open. And these 2 teams are head-to-head each. But I would say the most significant match being last weekend at Short Hills.
But I'll tell you, last week in Short Hills, Jerry, just so exciting for the women's game. We just see the evolution of the game right in front of our eyes. You know, all the players that are impacting the game and pushing it above and beyond what the game always was. And I just love watching all of these women who just really have no fear and so much talent. So
Yeah.
many weapons.
Wouldn't you love to be playing now?
I wish we were out there battling it out, Jerry. I don't mind having a comfortable seat and no blisters. Thank you very much. I always joked about how Jerry Vian made me work harder than any other player I ever played against. Just a combination with Sue Airy, and they just made you work so hard. You go up to the net and you're like, oh no, this is going to be a ton of work. And that's what all these players feel all the time. These players are so, so talented and can defend, most offensive situations that they see coming their way.
And that's what we're seeing right now. I mean, there is just a level of tenacity on all 4 players.
Hey, and
Nice
I'll tell you,
rip.
Jen, what a rip, and a little bit more of a compact swing from Kiro
15-30.
on that forehand. She's cut down her swing a little bit right there and just was able to, pounce on that ball and just didn't give Hanish any time to recover.
15-40.
Part of the tactics of a team is to wear your opponents down so that they can't perform at their highest level. But both teams are just countering each other right now. Step point opportunities for Kiro and Medeiros, and Zabori drives a
30,
beautiful
40.
forehand down the line. Still
I
set
just don't
point.
think that line, right. I just don't think the line should be open on that shot for Zabori. I think Kiro's got to hold her ground
Yeah.
a little bit longer there.
Yeah, Medeiros will cover her if it goes anywhere else. Oh. I always thought Harnish was going to try another slash drop overhead there. Thought,
Well, why not,
second
Jerry?
this- Oh. Harnish is finding the baseline on these deep push overheads. There's that lob. Medeiros well placed. Well done, the big move,
Game,
well
Kiro,
set up by Medeiros.
They win the set 7-5.
Got that short ball, and then Kiro came in and put the pressure on having to volley up, calibrated that shot, and that is the first set to Kiro and Medeiros, 7-5. And we'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by eNet Live.
High performance never tasted this good. Chocolate, berries, cinnamon, agave. Fuel your car, then fuel your body with Remedy Plus.
And welcome back to the APTA Tour presented by Remedy Plus. We are in the women's final at the Philadelphia Open. Kiro Medeiros and number 2 seeds have just taken the first set 7-5 from the number 1 seeds Harnish and Zabori. And Patty, not much between these two teams.
Yeah, very little separation out here. High level play, Jerry. That's why they're in the finals. They're the two best teams in this event. And, you know, there was that huge hold that Kiro had late in that set, Jerry, coming back from 15-40 down. That was really the key, you know, for them to get that first set, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there has not been anything, there hasn't been any real streaky play. You know, it's been more of a clawing, and both teams are handling the pressure well. It's really, like I said, it's more about managing themselves. It's interesting to see if there'll be a change of tactics or a change in the speed of play. Lynn Kiro serving first for the second set.
Jerry, I don't know how this struck you, that first set, but, you know, most paddle matches we see, you get a lot of momentum swings. With that, never felt like there were big swings because they're both, they all played the score, and they knew, both teams knew how important it was to keep the score close and play within that themselves, you know, to do that. And so we didn't see those momentum swings. You didn't see that either team went on any kind of, you know, cruise control at all in that set. That's how competitive this match is.
Right. That's what I meant by, you know, going on streaks. I mean, no one was, you know, getting way ahead and then having to come back. There was not the 5-2 clawback. It's been nip and tuck the whole way. Zabori, for them to pull out the second set, I think Zabori's got to be a little bit more energized.
How does she get energized, Jerry?
She, just that little spark. I know she's trying to be more consistent and not give away, you know, too many quick points, but I think she's got to step in and really take a couple of big swings at the ball and just get her. We haven't seen her between the legs or behind the back shot, you know, which always gets her going. Just needs to elevate just a little bit. But it's such a tricky balance.
30-40.
And we talked about it's just one shot sometimes, Jerry, right? That just ignites a player and puts them over the top with their, and gets their confidence to be where it needs to be in order to execute at a higher level.
Yeah, she's right there. She's
40
right there.
all.
You can just see she needs to have that spark. Kiro Medeiros are not giving them anything that they can play off of. They're making them build their own points. They're making them generate.
Add out.
Well-placed lob by Mason
Game,
Madeira there,
Addis,
pulling
Sabori.
Sabori all the
They
way
lead the
back.
second
They
set,
counted.
1-0.
I think, Patty, that was a huge game for Harnish and Sabori to win on that second set. Get them, to forget about the first set. That's done. Get them back into the match.
Yeah, Jerry, and they're the players, 2 straight nationals. They're the team everyone's after. They're the team everyone's got to retool for, try different combinations, work on their game. They've forced the level to go up, and there's a couple of our top teams in the country who, kind of have a willingness and the capacity to get out there and defend
15.
some of the, the amazing shots and sequences that you see from Zabori and Hanish, and Kira Medeiros as a team they are so tough. They are right here, Jerry, because they can defend everything, and they've got their own weapons.
And they've got the composure.
15 all.
They showed a lot. Boston and coming into Short Hills. They played some big matches.
$30-15.
I got to be careful in here, Kiro Medeiros and Watch their shot selection.
And I think in particular Kira right now, right at this moment.
Got to keep the score close early in this second set. You get the feeling if Harnish and Zabori get that spark going, they could take over. Zabori has not been able to hit her breaker overhead, which can cause a lot of damage. You know, that overhead where she really rotates her shoulders and comes down the back right side of the ball bounces, jumps on the court and bounces right into the side screen and drops on the back screen. We haven't seen a lot of those.
Game, Harnish, Zabori. They lead 2-0.
Has a lot to do with the depth and the placement of the lobs from Kiro and Medeiros.
We talked about how we didn't really feel that one team had momentum necessarily in that first set, but I feel it now with Harnish Zabori, Jerry.
Yeah, you can definitely see the difference. Macy Medeiros serving. If you're just joining us, there was nothing in that first set. It was nip and tuck the whole way. Kiro Medeiros doing a good job.
And Jerry, what you imply is that nothing separated these two teams. It was just like all four of them came out here, very little separation. All of a sudden, I've seen a couple unforced errors from Kiro Medeiros to start this second set, and I feel like all of a sudden, Harnish and Zabori, I just feel like they're a little bit looser all of a sudden.
Yep, there's an internal shift for sure. Both teams are really reading the play well and adjusting, but it's just about that being a little bit more offensive when the play's there. And the number one thing in this game when you first start playing, well played by Floor Harnish here, number one thing in this game when you first make that transition from a tennis player is you need to be consistent. Now you've got to keep that ball in play and not go for the shot too soon. So it's always a calibration of being too passive, right? Which is what it felt a little bit like for Harnish and Zabori. They were just being a little too careful, but they had to be. They couldn't afford to make any quick unforced errors. And then you've got to, find that little aggressive, like right there, Zabori's not stepping in enough.
Well, and you said she had to hit. She needs to aim or drive a little higher over the net. Give herself a little more margin for error.
That was a big return.
40.
And I feel like in this game, Medeiros Kiro missed a couple of volleys just from being a little bit back, Jerry. They've got to stay aggressive and go forward. When they see the drive coming, particularly from Harnish over there in that deuce court, they've got to move in.
Game, Harnish Zabori. They lead 3-0.
And that's another one down the line. Zabori picked up on Kiro's kind of little tiny bit of movement and not an inclination, I would say, to cover the line. And found a little opening, forced the volley error. And Jerry, one of our biggest fans of the live stream, lives out on Long Island, Karen Salerno. Shout out to Karen. She's loving the action, listens to the commentating all the time, Jerry, and learns a lot. And I'm sure she will utilize it in her game tomorrow.
Well, this is a good match to learn a lot from. I mean, you're seeing high percentage paddle right now.
These women are good, Jerry. It is so fun to watch. I mean, and just their movement. You know, they just cover the court, pretty effortless. And again, Jerry, I say the game changes all the time, but the game goes back to fundamentals. You know, you're going to miss volleys if you're playing off the net. If you're not going to be aggressive, when you see a drive coming and move forward, you're going to get caught with some of those dipping drives and miss some volleys a little bit. So a little bit of that in that last game, and we'll see what happens here. Flora Hanisch will take us out.
A little bit of that, Patty. You're right. Of them being off the net and of Hanisch and Zabori stepping in and hitting their shots. Flora Hanisch is taking a practice serve. It's a new ball, so you're allowed to do that.
Wait, was that an ace?
I believe it was. Well, you can see the comfort level of Hanisch has gone up.
15 all.
Now I'm feeling it. I might just try this shot now.
Why not? What would Anna do with this shot?
15-30.
And that's the danger, Jerry. You get a little bit away from your discipline, and all of a sudden,
yep,
you might make like an unforced error that you haven't made in a long time.
Wow.
We did see that in Short Hills a little bit. The uncertainty of who's going to take what shot in the backcourt, and you know it's not surprising to me, Patty, because you know they're a new team. They're still figuring things out. I don't expect to see much of that. Okay, chance
40.
here for Kiro Medeiros to get on the scoreboard the second set.
Would have loved to have seen Hanisch hit an off-speed drive there, Jerry. She had both players back on the service line, one even further back. Maybe an off-speed drive would have been perfect in that situation. Again, that line was available because of Kiro's tendency to look a little bit more toward the middle, and she sets up kind of neutral or even favoring her forehand rather than her backhand.
And out.
Answers
really good
with
return.
A huge return of serve. It's just like going to find that balance between being aggressive and sitting back a bit. You know, you really just need to be clear, and I just...
Game, Kiro.
It's a loose volley and a big door opening
3-1
for Kiro and Medeiros in this set.
Yeah, they didn't have anything, Jerry. That was a gift right there. What a reach on that volley from Lynn Kiro. I don't think Zabori could believe it either.
Just pressing just a little bit.
pull this out. 30-15.
Kiro can throw in a few faults from time to time. She does have a big serve. It's a down the line return,
30
Patty.
all.
Yeah, I just think that line off of Zabori's forehand is a little bit of problem, leaving it open.
Oh,
40-30.
I love the play though. She just missed.
Yeah, she's still, you know, trying to get on even keel. I feel she had the momentum going a little bit, and then she backed off just a titch, and that's. They're sending up solid lobs, and you notice, Patty, they don't switch sides when they get in the backcourt. Medeiros, of course, won a national championship playing on the deuce side with Marcela Redesno.
Got it.
Game, Kiro, Medeiros, Hana Sabori lead 3-2.
Jerry, a proud sponsor to the APTA, Fusion curates what's next in branded gear and apparel for your company, your team, or your event. With a team of dedicated industry experts, Fusion curates high-end product selections for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate identity. We create a stress-free shopping experience with custom online stores and quick custom ordering to get the gear you need now without any hassle. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion provide you with the gear to fuel your game.
Ana Maria Zabori serving up 3-2 in the second set.
15, love. $15 all.
Kiro and Medeiros just going about the business of not missing. Well-placed lobs. Hana Sabori went off to a 3-love lead, Patty, and we thought the momentum was all with them. They were being a little bit more aggressive. And the tide has changed slightly.
Ah!
15-30.
And Hanish has missed a couple of those push overheads long.
15-40.
Shout out to Elisa Todd, who's out at Roxydicus. They're all cheering on their new pro, Lynn Kiro, enjoying the action.
Yeah, when does Kiro start there?
Oh, very soon, Jerry.
It's exciting.
Yeah, Roxydicus definitely wants to have a high-profile player, and they've got that with Lynn Kiro, who's worked her way up to the top of the women's game here. And I think it's going to be a great fit for that club.
Worked her way up to the top quickly. Harnish looks
over
a
there.
little tight to me, Patty, right now.
3-all
She's
in the
missed a
second
couple
set.
of those deep overheads. They pushed them long. And that was a very tight swing on her forehand. She's
Yeah, so
got to
from-
keep swinging.
I agree. Jerry, quick shout out to William Moss, who's enjoying the action. Barb Coster's loving the action. Priscilla's loving it. The McNerneys are watching and loving it. And Olivia Fraser is watching it out from Cincinnati.
So great everyone's enjoying the live streaming of the APTA.
Yeah, and if you have any questions for Jerry, put them in the chat and I'll read them to her. And I'll make up parts of the questions too. Make it a little more lively. Watch out, Jerry.
So after going up 3 level, oh, that's a good shot of the crowd there in Philly. All enjoying the action. They're certainly getting a treat, high-level match. But after Harnish Zabori going up 3-love with a big momentum, Hero and Medeiros have just systematically gone about being consistent. Nothing too flash, nothing too big. They're playing within themselves, and they're making Harnish and Zabori really have to think about their shots. They've tied this second set up 3-all.
Ooh, that was close. That made me nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what Zabori's just got to come in and take more of those shots.
Yeah, and I think Medeiros, when she's the player to the right at the net, she has to hit that overhead straight back, Jerry. I don't think she can afford to hit that ball in the middle with that speed and court coverage and, skill that Zabori can pull out on that forehand.
Right.
I think Medeiros just should hit it straight ahead so there's no requirement for their team to shift to defend the next drive.
30-all.
Let's see, Zabori searching for different ways, different looks. Kiro and Medeiros have all the answers so far. They're unfazed.
Jerry, so Tall Lisa from Wilton wants to know, how do you change the momentum? If it's going against you, what do you do?
Well, right now the momentum is kind of in the balance, but for Harnish and Zabori sort of get back out of that first set where they were a little too passive, they stepped in and took more balls. Harnish really started to hit her forehand. Zabori was stepping forward, and now they've kind of backed down a little bit. Kiro and Medeiros are just taking it to them. They're not giving them any free points. They're making them have to build the point and then pull the trigger themselves.
40-30.
And a beautiful dipping ball caught Harnish Zabori well off the net. Perfect pace of that dipping shot. And we got a volley error out of the combined team of Harnish and Zabori on that one.
And good, strong body language from Kiro Medeiros right now. Oh.
Game, Kiro, Medeiros.
And that pressure is
They lead
definitely
4-3.
affecting Harnish and Zabori. They're having to react to Kiro and Medeiros, and that they're used to dictating and dominating.
Hey, Jerry, we got a throwback comment in the chat room. Alice Duff is watching and enjoying the action.
Hello to
Greenwich,
Alice. We
Connecticut.
had spent quite a lot of time on the practice court and in tournaments with Alice Duff. Glad she's enjoying the streaming. How many times do we drive to the Greenwich Phil Club, Patty?
Many Sundays, Jerry. We teach all week and we drive up there so we can battle it out for a couple hours of play.
All right, Florentine Harnish is serving, and she served and stayed back. And
Love 15.
I think that tells you a lot.
Yep. And Jerry, we used to travel on Sundays because there were nowhere near the APTA tournament offerings, but now it's almost like you can go play a tournament anywhere around the country every weekend.
Yeah, this is the 11th stop on the tour. Kiro and Medeiros continue to show that they have a willingness to be patient.
Oh my God, what a great catch on that ball.
Yep. Harnish and Sabori are gonna have to take risks like that.
Let's go.
15 all.
And this is a compliment, but Kiro and Medeiros are just like a dripping tap. They are just relentless in their rhythm and consistency, not going for anything out of their range, but when the shot's there, they'll take it, but just very, very solid. Nice call, heads up by Zabori there, because Harnish was really well outside the service line, and Madeira closing in for that blitz. So important that your partner keeps their eyes forward and doesn't turn around and watch you hit your overhead.
One more quick shout out, Jerry. David Chelson and Deb Chelson are enjoying the action from up in Maine. We've got Tennessee covered, Maine. Everyone's loving this. We've got Australia. We've got it covered.
I think I need to give my brother a shout out. He's up in Cairns in Australia.
Oh wow.
Yep, my older
and
brother
did you tell
Paul.
him? Did you tell Paul he had to watch? Because I told my brother Paul not to watch.
I did not see her. She was in the way.
You know, he subscribes to the APTA network, so he gets the alerts.
30 all.
Just like Ray Crosta. Jerry, Ray Crosta is watching from Hawaii right now.
Gotta love it.
Ooh.
30-40.
Not the shot she's probably been coached to hit in that circumstance.
Come on, let's go.
40 all.
And I'm sure Lynn Kiro's family is watching from Cape Town, South Africa. We've got Harnish, who was born in Brazil. Her family's watching, I'm sure, as along with Zabori from Serbia. Oh, nice close on the net by Medeiros there. a point for a 5-3 lead, Kiro Medeiros.
See, I think for Medeiros, Kiro, I like it when Medeiros takes more of the middle ball versus Kiro because I want Kiro sitting on that monster forehand she can tag.
Wow.
Game, Kiro, Medeiros, they lead 5-3.
And it's just, again, just the consistency of Kiro and Medeiros just not giving them anything to work with. And Harnish and Zabori just having to hit overhead after overhead from outside the service box. And we have Kiro Medeiros serving for the match.
Kiro stayed on the line, Jerry, and hit a backhand volley there. Wow, great depth from Medeiros. Right there, you can see the variety in her overheads. Plainfield Country Club, Clarissa Hearn, they're all cheering it on, looking for Hanish and Zabori to get another charge here. Extend this to 3 sets.
I think they're going to have to take some chances for that to happen. I just don't see Kiro and Medeiros backing down right now.
You know, the thing about Kiro Medeiros, Jerry, is I don't even think it's in their thought process about backing down. It's not who they are as individual paddle players, and as a team, that's what strikes me about them. They don't back down from the situation, and I feel like they are just phenomenal range at the net. And just, I mean, how many unbelievable shots do Zabori and Hanish have to hit to find a hole?
A lot.
A million.
A lot.
Yeah, more than they've found so far.
As we can see. Just see that Harnish is itching. I mean, Zabori is just itching to get one of those short lobs where she can really put a little bit more spin on it. And well done by Medeiros. She just outweighted them, waited until she got that overhead that was a little too high on the screen, and then she thumped it down and caught Harnish off the net.
30 love.
You know, and Zabori is so used to dictating play off the variety of spins that she has, off her overheads, Jerry, and it's just not bearing any fruit for them as a team. And, you know, there's a little bit of frustration now that you kind of can feel in their play.
Thirty, 15. All. 40-30.
That brings us to match point for Kiro Medeiros. All right, there you have it. Game, set, match. Kiro Medeiros 7-5, 6-3.
6-3 for the match.
Yeah, Jerry, just
Patty, in the
phenomenal
end,
play.
it was the
Great match.
It was the consistency of Kiro and Medeiros that set them up for that success. They just refused to be rushed. They did not make any unforced errors. They stayed the course. They lobbed well. They executed their game plan well. And Hanish and Zabori, we saw moments of the spark, but they really are going to have to go back and take a look at this match, and they'll learn from it. They will, but the bar has been raised, and we definitely have a new team in the mix of contention for the national title coming up in Chicago.
Yeah, Jerry, and I just love how with the influx of new players in the game, the influx of Lynn Kiro making an immediate impact on the women's game at the highest level. I mean, no time is more exciting than this for women's paddle. And, you know, one more look at the draw and on their win coming through here in Philadelphia. And what an amazing footing for them going into nationals after their strong finish, taking out Hannah Sabori at Short Hills and backing that up here, winning the entire event. Bodes well for their chances in Chicago in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and just on that note, Patty, deadline is tomorrow for those who are going to register for the nationals. So
Okie doke, and Junior Nationals deadline Sunday.
Okay, so congratulations to Lynn Kiro and Macy Medeiros, an outstanding second half of the season, an outstanding win for them today. And that's a wrap from the women's final. We'll be back tomorrow at 2:30 with the men's quarterfinal. Patty, great to see you, and I look forward to calling some matches from the Nationals in Chicago.
You bet. Thanks so much, Jerry. Great job.
Amazing match point. What athleticism.
And there you have it, your APTA national champions.
Best match of the year.
Brilliant shot.
Incredible stuff. And it's sitting up and he's right there.